Hi, my name is Maida. I'm a rising senior in high school, planning to pursue English as a major in university. And I developed this speaker series for myself and for others like me who are interested in writing and potentially becoming published authors. So thank you so much, Miss Corinne Rich, for agreeing to meet with me today. And I'm very excited to hear what you have to share. So could we start off with you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Corinne Rich. I am a digital publicist. I full time. That's my business is that I manage social media platforms for small businesses, as well as doing web design and graphic design and basically anything in the digital sphere to help people get their messaging out there. And that led me to be interested in writing a short novel about really kind of a short story about the economy that we live in and how all of the digital channels that we engage upon have an effect on us both personally and in a business perspective. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got into the idea of writing a book about it.
Great. Well, my first question for you is what inspired you to write that book? Like,
So I've been in sales and marketing for a long time. I worked in the corporate environment for a while and I went out on my own in 2011. So I've watched over the last 20 plus years kind of the economy shift and the way that we engage um, as potential customers with businesses. When I started out, social media was barely a thing. And so, now it has become the only, like the way, the channel, that we market our businesses and we get our brand message out to customers. And so, um, that knowledge of all of that and kind of thinking about, I always am trying to look and see like what's next. Like I saw, I saw the way Facebook came in and its original way that people engaged with it, and then how businesses suddenly had an opportunity there, and then Instagram and Twitter and now TikTok and things like that. And so YouTube shorts, and now we have threads. And so I'm always kind of wondering and thinking and looking toward what's going to be next, mostly because I want to be prepared for my clientele so that I can be ready to engage their businesses on these channels and keep them at the forefront. But also it's just something that I had really kind of been interested in. The introduction of AI that came this year and the availability of that was also something that I've been very interested in, and something that I'm learning to utilize in my business and capitalize on that. And so I kind of had this idea for, writing a book that kind of touches on all those subjects and imagines, what is possible moving forward.
very cool. So, did you develop a more personal or factual writing style in your book? Like a persuasive, like, is it more persuasive? Is it like a narrative?
So it's definitely it's fictional for sure, and it's based in my experience in kind of what I do and what I've done in my career. And it imagines a woman who is, has this knowledge and creates an idea and how she's going to monetize that and make money on that. How the digital economy and the, this I coined it as the voyeuristic economy. So we've moved from, we were originally a commodity based economy way back when the reason that you bought something was because someone had it. Like, I need apples, you have apples, therefore I'm going to buy apples. And then we moved from a commodity based economy into a more service based economy where everybody had apples. So who was going to provide me the best service experience in receiving those apples? And then quickly we moved from that to a more experiential economy, which is it wasn't everybody had apples and everybody knew how to give proper service. So then what's my experience in buying those? That's when we saw the invention of some really cool shopping experiences, different things. My personal experience in that was the mobile retail explosion in the early 2010s. I owned a mobile retail boutique called Shoe Bar that was a retrofitted trolley car, and it was like a food truck but with shoes. So that's something I had a very personal experience with, and was capitalizing on the experiential economy at that time. And now I feel like we have transitioned into what I am calling a voyeuristic economy, where I think the pandemic had a major play in that, where we weren't able to be out and experience things in person. So we, had a desire to have those experiences, but in a safer environment. And how TikTok blew up during the pandemic and things like that. Now we're making buying decisions based on watching other people enjoy the thing that we want or need or don't know that we want yet. We have a perceived want of it. That's kind of where we're at now. And so what does that look like when with AI in the mix and a voyeuristic economy? What are our buying habits? What are our buying decision patterns going to be like in the next 5 years? Because it's going to change that fast. It's changing almost daily now.
So you touch on all of these like subjects and themes through a fictional story, you said. So it's like about a young woman and she's based off of you. So it's kind of like a fusion between your own experiences and like a story about a woman.
Yeah, and it's something that it was my way of kind of telling a story that is not based in truth. It's not her business concept, and what she does with it is not something I've ever done. But it was kind of a way to speak to this transition of our economy and how people engage with it's how you monetize those moments, from a business perspective. And if you own a business or want to own a business in the future, how do you get your brand message to market? How do you get it in front of your clientele? And how are you the person that they choose to buy the thing that they could get 60 other places? So it's a story about someone who does that successfully, and how I imagine melding all these things together and making that function in a voyeuristic economy. It's something that again, it's something that I am constantly thinking about for my clients, and how we're going to transition their brand message as things change, and how we're going to continue to compete in these digital spheres. And so it was something that I felt like was a story I could share and kind of really just get people's wheels turning of, from a business perspective, what they need to be prepared for.
So you chose that format rather than just like a plain informational book, just to make it more engaging and like have people really understand what like the message is.
Yeah, and I also think that it's something that it's abstract still, because this isn't the way that it is completely yet. And I don't know for sure, of course, you never know, that that's where it will go, but it all signs point that way. And so it's kind of a matter of imagining, with all the things that feel pretty new still in the way that we are influenced in our buying decisions. How does that translate to bigger purchases? Not a hair product, not a curling iron, but like, how does that translate to how you make the decision to buy a house or a car, or how you make a decision on an investment portfolio, or bigger things that would affect you in more as an adult, as you're making bigger decisions later in your life. And those are not tangible things yet. We don't know that that's how people are going to be affected. So it's something that I liked the idea of kind of discussing in a fictional way.
Mhm. So what was the editing process like for your book? Did you like take any feedback and implement it into your writing?
So I wrote it, and like I said, it's a short story. It's not a super long novel. So I was able to get my mom, she's a retired school teacher, librarian, and has a minor in English. So I got her to proof it for me and kind of read through it from a grammatical and technical standpoint. And then I had a couple friends, Dr. Villaflor being one of them, who are very well educated, and people who I trust their opinion, kind of just go through it and give me their feedback on it. So the cool thing is, in the way that I published it as well, is it because it's published digitally. I can always add to it, which I've already done, one iteration of adding to it. And I liked that too, kind of from the whole concept of what it was about. that I can continue to add to it, because as this changes, that story can develop.
So what was the publishing process like for you?
So I went through the Kindle digital publishing thing, and honestly, it's pretty easy. Just kind of stepping through that process of getting it up in, a digital realm. So that's the only place that it's currently published. But yeah, it was pretty easy, just, stepping through each one of their processes of getting it, out there to the world. So
So what purpose, well, rather than what purpose, like what target audience were you hoping your book would reach? Is it like for consumers who are living in this like changing economy, or is it for like I don't know, like business owners who are intending to sell something?
I think that I feel like it has more of appeal to someone who either owns a business or is thinking of starting a business, or is having those conversations of how do we get our message out to the market. It's something that I think will really get people thinking about, you know, where we've come and where we're going. I constantly run into, with my clients, business owners that have been at the game of whatever their business is for a while, and have found that most small business owners are good at what the business does, whatever that the business of the business is, and rarely are they also good at marketing their business, which is why I've been successful at what I do, because that's where I come in. So it's something that I think helps kind of get people who maybe aren't that aren't inundated in that every day like I am, thinking about, how that has changed in the last 20 plus years, and how quickly it's going to change for us in the next 5-10 years, and how, they need to be considering that in their marketing efforts.
What's one lesson you learned from writing and publishing your book? Whether it's there.
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it was satisfying for me, and something that it's not something that I had really had as like a goal to like be a published author or something. It was something that I thought um would it was cool to kind of share what I see in my world, my business world, over the last, couple of decades. And I liked the idea of doing it. So it's something that I probably learned that it was more fulfilling than I ever really considered that it could be. And it's something that I definitely think I would do again.
Very cool. Thank you so much for answering my question today. It was a pleasure to meet you. So,
Yeah, you too. And thanks so much for considering me to be part of your series. I wish you the best of luck, and good for you for doing something like this.
thank you.